Hello, everyone, and welcome to the inaugural podcast of MsWrestleBlog. Now, for those of you not familiar with me, I am a somewhat personality on Twitter. Really, I'm just an opinionated asshole talking on Twitter about wrestling and judging like I know anything about it. Now, what MsWrestleBlog is it's a blog that I'll bet, not been writing much on, but it's just supposed to be me talking about professional wrestling in general, and because of my love for the WWF and WWE growing up, it primarily focuses on that. Because if I dedicated half as much time to all of the wrestling shows that come on that I do to the WWE, I would have no time for my full-time job. So essentially what I'm trying to do is focus just primarily on WWE and what's happening on Raw, SmackDown, Superstars, Main Event, NXT, and Total Divas, and that is a full plate unto itself. And so this is like our soft debut, is what I'd like to say. And now I'm the primary host, and I will be having different people join me to talk about different wrestling things. And what we're going to do on this specific inaugural podcast is we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in Total Divas Season 4 thus far. Just to get our feet wet, just to get it out there, just to get some people listening to our channel. So I'm going to take the time to introduce who's going to be talking with me about Total Divas today, and that's my sister, Tanya. Tanya, say hello to everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Okay. Tanya, as well as I am, we've pretty much been going to wrestling events since we were in the womb. So I felt like that was a good person to talk to. So first of all, let me just kind of talk to you about why I love professional wrestling. Professional wrestling has been something that in my life that has been up and down with change throughout the whole entirety of my life. It's been there. It's been like a mother to go back to. Some of the characters have shaped me in ways that you would never anticipate, given the fact that it's the WWE and it's professional wrestling and it's fake and everything like that. But really, these people helped raise me. You know, not the best childhood, but having this to go back to, these strong characters, these strong women characters to go back to, it really, really has helped me. So like I said, we're going to be talking about Total Divas today, and a lot of people have a lot of hate towards Total Divas. They don't like the show, they think it's vapid, they think it's stupid. I personally love Total Divas because I, for one, love to see what's behind the curtain. Tanya and I have had the awesome opportunity to go and see some WWE events live, and it's such a different beast than when you go see anything else live, or even when you watch WWE on television. When you go see it live, you realize how much of it is just like this big theater production, and you notice things like how hard they really are hitting that mat, how much it really does take to put on this show, from something as simple as, you know, we're on a commercial break, so, you know, we're watching some kind of commercial for Carl's Big Burgers on television, and there are these people, just these unsung heroes of the WWE, running in and changing out mats and everything of that nature. So when you go see it live, if you've never seen it live, I suggest going and seeing it live, because you really do get the sense that it is Broadway with body slams, and you do come to respect every single person that's a part of making it happen in a lot different way. So what we're going to do is we're just going to talk about what's going on with Total Divas. Now, so far throughout the season, we've had 3 episodes, and it's been Diva Divide, She Said, She Said, and Eat Your Heart Out. And this season, what it seems to be doing is it seems to be following a few certain aspects, but the big main issue with all of the women seem to be centered around Eva Marie and Eva Marie training. Now, what we have, where we pick up on Diva Divide is we pick up where they're all having lunch, and it's pretty much universally known that the twins are leaving. At this point, they're leaving. They decide that they have done everything they want to do in their careers, and they want to go explore some different avenues. We know that Brie Bella and Daniel Bryan are wanting to start a family, and that Nikki is looking to parlay her success with the WWE into something a little bit more out there and having a few more options out there. So we start off with all the ladies at brunch, and the Bellas come in, and they're all talking about how now there's this spots open. There's these 2 big spots open, and everyone's wanting to revamp their characters, and everyone's so wrapped up in that they're not really paying too much attention to the fact that they're sad they're going to be losing their coworkers. They're more along the lines of thinking, well, it's sad they're leaving, but here's our spot, because as Nikki Bella points out multiple times, everybody wants that one spot, and that's the spot she's in. And quite frankly, in my opinion, that's how it needs to be. If you're
Yeah.
not in that business to be the locker room leader, then you don't need to be the locker room leader.
Mhm.
Um, so that that is how pretty much the way that goes. Well, what stems from that conversation is later we see Natty approach Carano, and bless Carano's heart for having
Yeah.
to deal with these women. I don't know how he does it, because he he has to deal with these women and their varying degrees of attitude,
Yeah.
you know? And so we have Natty coming in there, and she's pitching her new idea, and she brings up maybe doing something with Eva Marie. And he explains to them that Eva Marie's not going to be on the road for the European tour, but she's actually in LA. And that's where this whole debacle starts, is because apparently Eva had told Brie and the other girls that she was going to be training down at NXT in the Performance Center, and now she's going to be training in LA.
Mhm.
Well, I'm not really sure why the girls are so upset about this.
I don't get it.
I don't either, because I think Carano was about as forthcoming as he could be.
Mhm.
Because he just said, there are deals lined up for Eva Marie that benefit the company and benefit her, and it just makes more sense for her to be out there. Now, what I'm sensing is that all of these divas feel like Eva Marie just went to the WWE and said, absolutely not. I'm
Yeah.
not going to participate with, you're not going to send me to the Performance Center, I'm above that. I don't see any inclination from Eva Marie that she said no to that. I
I
feel like,
haven't.
and in an interview with her a few months ago, it very much came across that this was an idea from the main office. And so you have Mark Carano sitting here and telling Natty, we're trying to push her to that Bella level.
Mhm.
And what we're trying to do with that is we're trying to keep her based in LA, where all these opportunities have come open. And we're killing five birds with one stone by having her out there training with Brian Kendrick.
Mhm.
And this causes this big rift kind of deal, where all the girls get together and they have a trash session, where they're convinced that Eva's lied to them. They're
Yeah.
questioning, well, why now? Why does she want to train now? When just a few days earlier, when they were at brunch, they were excited that she was going to train, and they had nothing
Mhm.
negative to say about it. But now all of a sudden, because it's not happening how they want it to happen,
It all blows
it,
up.
it all blows up. It's this big ordeal. And this is why I think it's ridiculous. One, I think it's ridiculous for women who are in the position they're in to be portraying this kind of image. I know it's a
Yeah.
reality show and it's a scripted reality show and you want the drama
Mhm.
to intrigue the viewer, but it seems so catty. I remember when I first watched this episode, I was just done with it.
Mhm.
It's like, I can't believe these women, these grown women who have been in this company this long,
Taking it to a middle school level.
taking it to a middle school level, exactly, and being so upset about something that has nothing to do with them, really. Like, you've got Nikki and Brie, who are talking about how Eva Marie's been in the business for 2 years and hasn't done anything, and all that she wants to do is be a superstar, have movie deals, have this, have that. Well, that's
Mhm.
all fine and dandy, but later in that very episode, we have Nikki and her mother sitting there talking about how Nikki's wanting to leave because she's got an opportunity to be a game show host.
I didn't know a game show host.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah, and then in previous seasons, we've had Nikki actively going on casting calls because she has an agent. They all have agents,
Yeah.
and they all have agents that they try to get different endorsement deals, because at the end of the day, yes, the WWE is about professional wrestling, but those women and those men are empowered to go out and make their own endorsement deals, because at the end of the day, if you want to make a paycheck and you want to make more than what WWE is offering, you got to bring in some
Yeah.
revenue. And
You
it's
gotta step
also,
out.
yeah, it's also important for you to be able to bring something to the company. And that's one thing Eva Marie has been exceptional about, is
Mhm.
to bring, whether it's kind eyes or not, to the company. She's brought it. I mean, she's got a big deal with Bellamy Hair. She's got the Shreds deal. Her husband's very well known in the fitness world. And really, before she came to the WWE, Eva Marie was pretty well known in the in the fitness world as a fitness model.
Mhm.
And, fitness models coming to the WWE is nothing new. Some of the greatest women's champion of all time started that. Trish
Trish
Stratus
Stratus.
immediately comes to mind, that she was a wrestling fan who was a fitness model and just so happened to be on a show with, I think it was Brian Pritchard.
I
And
think so.
and it just went from there.
Mhm.
And so they're all so angry because she's not taking the time to go down to NXT and the Performance Center, that she's working out there, and that she's learning on the fly and learning on the road. But again, I like to harken that back to Trish Stratus. Trish Stratus was someone who learned on the fly, on the road. And Trish Stratus very much was someone who admitted it in one of her DVDs that, she started getting in the ring and she goes, oh, wow, I really like this ring stuff. And that's when
Yeah.
she started kicking up her game and working with the other guys
Mhm.
and gals. But, so it's not like it's this unheard of thing in the WWE for Eva Marie to be taking this route. It's just there's a lot of eyes on her because of it.
Yeah.
And I just found it super hypocritical of Nikki Bella especially to be so upset about it, considering A, she was wanting to leave for to pursue other options in entertainment, and B, that she had already been actively going and
Mhm.
pursuing other opportunities. Her and Brie did that movie not too long ago, that independent movie together. So it's not that big of a deal. I don't understand. Like Cameron, for instance,
She
she
was doing what? Music?
she was doing music, and then she was one of the faces of a Culto beer. They all have different things that they're a part of.
Mhm.
And given the unique opportunity that Eva Marie was given by being cast on Total Divas and fans really taking to her, she's got a lot more on her plate.
Mhm.
And she's had a lot more opportunity worked up for her. And of course, she's a gorgeous girl. They're
Yeah.
giving her a lot more recognition. Maxim's always knocking on her door. She's always getting magazine deals and people wanting her to come to events and stuff like that. But what these women need to realize is that every bit of attention that she draws to the WWE is an opportunity for them. They need to stop focusing so much on what Eva Marie's doing and worry on what they're
Worry about
doing.
themselves.
Worry about themselves, but worry about what they're doing in the ring. Does it matter how the eyes get on the product as long as the product's good?
I wouldn't think
We
so.
all found out about wrestling in some other roundabout way. And we all have a similar story to where we saw one match or one wrestler that made us go, whoa, I want to tune into this every night.
Mhm.
For me, that was the light heavyweight division and the cruiserweight division in WCW and WWF at the time.
Mhm.
I tuned in and saw them, and then subsequently tuned in and saw the Hardys and Lita, Edge and Christian, those people working those matches and those feuds, and it was so dynamic that it
Mhm.
hooked me and it made me stay and watch what else was going on. Like we all have that story. And to be perfectly honest, does it matter where she trains? Like, does it
No.
really matter in the grand the grand scheme of things where she trains? Because the fact of the matter is not, oh, she took this long to start training. Oh, she's not training where we think that she should go. She's training.
She's training
And
at least.
she's putting in the work. She's putting in 5 to 6 days a week on top of staying on top of all her other endorsement deals and all her other obligations.
Yeah.
So I think the women really need to just look at that and be proud of that. And
being so petty.
yeah, and really support their fellow person, because the better she looks, the better they look. It's all a
Mhm.
game of give and take. No one person can elevate the division by themselves.
No.
Otherwise, you get the AJ Lee debacle, where you
Mhm.
got AJ Lee as the centerpiece of the world, and everyone else is just jobbing out to her and having a few lackluster matches. And like I can respect how heated Brie Bella gets about it, because she seems to really be upset with her heart in the right place as far as she's thinking about the respect and carrying on the tradition.
Yeah, but I think she's kind of taking the wrong kind of vehicle out onto the road.
Well, yeah, exactly. She kind of is in that aspect, But she's just so, and you run into that in professional wrestling, especially with those who still have the territory kind of mind. Is everyone feels like there's a certain way you should have to do it. Everyone feels that everyone should have to put in the same amount of effort or dues if they have to, and that's just not the case because not everybody has the same situation. You know, the Bellas were found via a diva search, and, you know, back then they didn't have all the things they're able to utilize like they're able to utilize now. So that's my whole bitch with it, I guess, is that respect the different avenues. And what really hypes me up is you have the Bellas getting all upset when they came into the business in a similar way. And, you know, it took them 7 to 8 years before they were even really considered mediocre workers as far as wrestling goes. It took them a long time before they were able to really be trusted to take the ball and run with it.
Well, they want to get all high and mighty and say they're like the top divas or whatever like that, but it took AJ stepping away for them to even be brought up to that spotlight.
Exactly. And honestly, you could argue that they were brought up way too soon.
They were.
Which is essentially what happened with Eva Marie. You know, they signed her. She's working a little bit down there training with some of the girls she came with, and then all of a sudden, boom, they want her on this reality show.
Thrust her into the spotlight.
Yeah, and then just because of her personality, it takes off. And from there, the WWE makes the not-so-wise decision to start throwing her into the fray where she's not quite ready to be yet.
Yeah.
And I think that they've seen that, and they realize that they have to now go back and start repairing that. And that's why, you know, we just recently saw Eva Marie debut down in NXT again, where I think she's going to be down there a little while working some matches.
I would think
because,
so.
You know, as much as her debut was a vast improvement from the last time we saw her, it was not so much the debut that I think everyone was expecting. But at the same time, I have to say, God, she's been working with Brian Kendrick 3 months. You know, it takes a little bit.
Just give her a little time.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people forget that the purpose of NXT is to take those who are green and work them and work their character and develop them. And it's because we have so many people come into NXT like Prince Devitt, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, people like that who are already polished, they're already skilled, they're already good to go. But then, of course, you think you've got people like Carmella and people like Alexa Bliss who have got athletic ability, but they're not quite there yet. And we're just used to that. We're used to this caliber from NXT.
Yeah.
And it's easy to look at that and forget all those people that we're so amazed by. They had to start somewhere too. And and maybe fortunately for them, they didn't have millions of eyes on them.
True.
You know, that's been a real downfall for Eva, is that, you know, she botches one thing in the ring and they want to judge her entire career on that.
To just blow it way out of proportion.
Yeah. They really do. Some other things that have been happening in the past episodes that I thought have been really funny is Natty and her Dominati. I love Natalya. She's one of my favorite wrestlers. And actually, before I go on to Natty, just to wrap up with the Eva Marie thing on the first part of that, you've got Paige complaining about the fact that Eva Marie's at home. Well, okay, Eva Marie is at home, and she has an advantage in that, but you've had an advantage. You grew up in a wrestling family. You didn't even want to wrestle until your dad forced you to wrestle, and then you discovered you loved it. Natty, no, she didn't have a private trainer, but she had the Heart Foundation. And you know, that didn't get her necessarily in the door. But that is that's experience that WWE can't buy. Just that pedigree and that growing up in the business like that, you can't buy that. But yes, Natty and her Dominati, where Natty has this like sweetness to her, this just virginal.
Yeah, she's like sweet and innocent, so it's hard to take her serious.
This innocence where she winds up in these situations, and it's always so funny because she tends to wind up with Trinity in tow somehow.
I've noticed that.
Yeah, and so you have her at the sex shop, and she's putting on a mask. And she's like, I can't breathe. I need out of this. You know, she's trying to really make this Dominati character work for her, even to the point where she brings the worst dominatrix I think she could have possibly found. This lady, I don't know what Natty was expecting, but I love how Natty was like, oh, it's okay, we're just gonna try it. Sure, go ahead and whip me. And her mom comes in.
I love that Mom was so cool about it. Like, this is just like an everyday thing.
Mom's just like, oh, well, okay. Well, sure, Natty, we'll just, okay, hit me with it, you know. It freaks TJ out. He's hilarious. He's on the phone. He's on the phone with her like, I'm the tag team champions. I should not be crawling around on the floor. It's just such a funny little glimpse into their life. I really enjoyed it. And I really enjoy that Trinity is back because they needed, in all this drama, they needed Trin to be the voice of reason. And actually, Trin catches a little heat because she's the one who tells Eva about all of this. And so they want to get a little hot under the collar at her. And so in the last episode that we've seen, it's called Eat Your Heart Out. And it starts out with it's WrestleMania week and everyone's having to just kind of work together.
Mm-hmm.
And so Nikki decides that she wants to have a talk with Eva. Now, given the past blow-up, Nikki Bella was pretty quiet. Despite being super vocal when all the girls were trashing Eva, when it came to Eva was there, Nikki Bella stayed silent. She didn't have anything. Mm-hmm. And I feel Eva was right. Nikki is the Divas champion. She does set the tone of the locker room. And, you know, she needed to be more vocal in that and try to handle that. And she just let it happen.
Yeah.
And, you know, and shame on those girls for being that way. Shame on them for even elevating it to them. And I don't blame Eva for feeling attacked because here she's just trying to get on their level and they just want to make fun of her. How is she supposed to react to that? Like, how is she supposed to feel? You know, she has to hear it from thousands of people tweeting it at her, and honestly, she has handled it like a champ.
Yes, she has.
She really has. I haven't seen her lash out or anything like that, but for your people you consider your friends and your coworkers to now be taking stabs at you and stuff, I can't imagine how painful that would be. So we have Nikki who's wanting to have this talk with Eva Marie, and immediately Nikki makes it all about this Instagram post. But this Instagram post that Eva put up is in response to the fact that she gets a call from a friend saying, I just want you to know that they're all bad-mouthing you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, honestly, if you're going to bad-mouth someone, does she really owe it to you to come and say, hey, I heard you were talking some shit about me and blah, blah, blah. No, she wants to handle her business and go on.
Yeah.
And I don't blame her. I would want to the same way. Just be like, you go ahead and run your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go over here and do this. And for Nikki got really personal in that, telling
she was mean.
She really was mean in an aspect. She was very hurtful in the things she said. Mm-hmm. And I don't think Eva Marie was wrong in telling her, you are the Divas champion and you're supposed to set the tone. And Eva just said, I'm coming for the title because I want a change. And I want it to be positive and uplifting. I don't want this cattiness. And Nikki just took it.
She lost it.
She lost it. She really did lose it in that aspect. And honestly, what Nikki has to realize is not everyone's going to kiss her ass.
No.
Because when the people that are in the industry with her are all bragging about what she's done with her championship and everything like that. But really, as fans, what have we seen her do with her championship? The interest in the Divas division has been at an all-time low since she's been the champ. It's not like she's had these amazing matches.
No.
It's not like there's been any really memorable feud. It's been the same old regurgitated stuff. Nothing's really stood out. So, you know, and she talks about ring psychology and stuff, and I'm like, you have no ring psychology.
Mm-mm.
Or if you do, it's a very small little glimmer of it. Because I'm not really seeing where what you're saying is what you've implemented in your thing.
Mm-mm.
So for me, and for most of the wrestling fans, Nikki Bella has been a lukewarm Divas champ. And that's why everyone's so excited to see the NXT girls come up and take that belt off her. Another thing that's going on in the Total Divas universe right now is Brie Bella wants to be a mom. She doesn't want to resign. Her and Daniel Bryan want to have babies, and that's fine. That's perfect. But, you know, on the second episode, we see where she thinks she's pregnant and finds out that she's not, and she's really emotional, and I hate that for her.
Yeah,
because as women, you can relate to, if you've ever had a scare, even if you didn't necessarily want a child, just once you're in that thought of, oh, I may be pregnant, you know, it's insane how much you can miss someone you never had.
Yeah.
And so, I feel so bad for her. And then they have the fertility testing, and we find out that they're all fertile and they're ready to go. And this actually helps Brie decide, I'm not done with wrestling yet. I know that we're good to go. We can have babies. And that pushes her to go, I want to stay here
Mhm.
because the Divas division is finally picking up, and I want to stay here and be a part of it. So we will have the Bella twins at least for another 3 years, and that may or may not be a good thing. We can't really know because we don't know what happens behind the scenes. Um, the episode ends with Eva Marie talking to her husband Jonathan, and I just want to say that I love Jonathan.
I do too.
He is the best just coach and just so great for her. And I love how his answer to everything is screw them. If they don't like it, screw them. You stay positive. You do what you got to do. You worry about you. And if I wish the other divas' husbands and boyfriends
Were that supportive.
were that supportive and were that stop your bullshit with a lot of them, that would be great. But we find out that Eva signs with Brad Slater, who is this huge entertainment agent who is representing The Rock and Ronda Rousey and some of the big
That's pretty
names
cool.
in Hollywood and in sports.
Mhm.
So it is a really big deal, and we're just going to see more and more things come from Eva from being a part of that. And I'm excited to see
Yeah, I'm
the next
excited.
episodes to see what they're going to say about, okay, well, now she's got a personal trainer, even though they've all at some point had a break that no one else got.
This
Now
is
she's
true.
got this amazing agent kind of deal. And, but the moral of the story for me with the Divas and their beef with Eva Marie is at the end of the day, the WWE is a business.
Mhm.
It does not matter how those eyes get on you. It matters what you do with the moments you have captured and
Mhm.
what you have captured with those fans. So what if what brought this person to watching this was Eva Marie? You're on the screen. Steal that spotlight.
Make the best of it.
Make of it. And you had that attitude in the Attitude Era. That's one thing that people like Shawn Michaels and Undertaker really talk about is everyone was fighting to be that guy that
Yeah.
took their division to the next level. And of course, egos played into that, but a lot of that came together to make some of the best matches.
Mhm.
And that's what these women need to be focusing on. It's like, stop fighting, stop, just get out of each other's business,
Yeah.
worry about yourself, and worry about what happens in that ring, because at the end of the day, it matters what happens in that ring. All of this other stuff has nothing to do with it. So, if Eva Marie is bringing you in more sponsors, more merchandising opportunities, more opportunities to be in storylines, and more interesting angles for you to work,
That's great.
embrace that and maybe thank her a little bit.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, that's really all that we have for you guys right now. I know this might seem a little quick and everything like that. The sessions are probably going to go a little longer in the future, but we just wanted to kind of test this out, get it out there, uh, get our opinions out there on that, and really catch up with Total Divas, and just announce that we're here and we're going to be a podcast. And yay, we're talking! Yay!
Yay.
I actually was very blessed to be able to be a fan of a certain show on YouTube called the Pipe Bomb Podcast. And I hope you guys at the end of listening to this will stop and immediately go to their channel because they are such a diverse and interesting group of people, and it's a wonderful way to spend an hour just laughing and being informed about wrestling because those guys are great. I actually got to be a guest on one of their shows, and I just wanted to give them a shout out because I've seen what they're doing in the podcasting world, and I'm so proud of them, and it's really inspired me to get off my ass and start doing, I've done little things like this before here and there, but never really stuck with it.
Mhm.
So it's really inspired me to move forward and to do that. So just a quick shout out to them. And guys, please continue, click subscribe at the bottom below. Keep coming back and looking for us here. Like I said, we're going to try to make a Monday reaction show for Raw. And then we'll have a Friday show that comes out that's going to cover all the little things in between. And then on Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm trying to release something where I'm going to follow just Total Divas because I don't want to just clump them all into one. Because that makes one very long show for you guys to listen to. And honestly, I don't know if I have the breath for that. But stay tuned. I hope to have another guest on who I hope is going to be my co-host for the rest of the time. But we'll introduce him at a later date. This has been my sister who's just filling in and chit-chatting with me, and I'm sure she'll chit-chat with us again in the near future. And thanks, guys. Again, I'm MsWrestleBlog at Twitter. That's where you can find me. And then, of course, we'll have more social media coming up. This is just the inaugural podcast. And I hope you guys stick around for the ride. All right. Have a good one.
Pleasures and starting a mind. We're only making